What happens when two of music's biggest personalities collide on live television? One of them decides they've had enough. You're about to see, because this was the day Adam Lambert stormed off the Kelly Clarkson Show in a moment that had the entire studio gasping. It began like any other interview. Kelly beamed her trademark smile as she welcomed Adam to the stage. The audience roared. Adam walked out with his signature swagger, and everything looked set for a smooth, celebratory chat. But within minutes, things turned tense. Kelly leaned in, voice bright but edged with curiosity. "Adam, you've had such an incredible career since Idol. But with all these new shows and producers shaping stars, what do you think about authenticity in music? Do you think some artists aren't being completely genuine with their image?" The crowd grew still. Adam's smile slipped. "Well, Kelly," he said carefully, "that's a loaded question. Authenticity is subjective. Just because someone comes from a reality show doesn't mean they're less real than someone discovered in a coffee shop." Kelly nodded, but pressed further. "Sure, but don't you think there's a difference between someone groomed by producers and someone who builds their sound organically?" That's when Adam's posture changed. "Are you implying my success isn't organic? Because I've been performing since high school?" Idol was a platform, not the beginning. Kelly's hands shot up in defense. "Oh no, I wasn't talking about you specifically." Adam cut her off. "Sharper now, weren't you? 'Cause it sure sounds like you're saying artists like me, artists who came from TV, are less legitimate." The audience shifted uncomfortably. The tension was impossible to ignore. Kelly laughed nervously. "Adam, I think you're reading too much into this. I'm just asking about the industry in general. My perspective." Adam's voice rose. "My perspective is that I've worked for everything I've achieved. Nobody manufactured my talent or my image. I've been authentic from day one, whether people want to admit it or not." Kelly doubled down instead of de-escalating. "But Adam, you have to admit the industry has changed. Back when I won Idol, it wasn't all about image and social media the way it is now." That struck a nerve. Adam leaned forward, bristling. "So now my success is just social media and image?" "Kelly, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but it's getting insulting." Silence. Not a cough. Not a laugh. Even the band looked uneasy. Kelly tried again, her smile cracking. "I'm really not trying to insult you. I just wanted an honest conversation about music." "Honest?" Adam laughed bitterly. "You want honesty? You invited me here, and instead of talking about my music, my tour, my work, you've spent the last 5 minutes questioning if I even deserve my success." "That's not what I was doing," Kelly said, her voice rising now too. "Isn't it? Because it sounds like you think reality TV artists are second-class citizens in music." The room was suffocating with tension. Kelly's cheerful veneer was gone, her frustration spilling over. "Adam, I came from the same place you did. I won Idol too. Why would I ever disparage that path?" Adam shot back coldly. "Maybe because you've spent years trying to distance yourself from it. Maybe now that you're established, you think you can look down on people who took the same journey." And then Kelly made the one mistake that detonated the entire interview. "Look, Adam," she said, her voice clipped, "I think you're being way too sensitive about this." The words hung in the air like a live wire. The entire studio seemed to freeze, bracing for the explosion. Too sensitive, you could see Adam's entire demeanor shift in an instant. His jaw tightened, his eyes locked on Kelly, and the warmth he'd carried onto the stage was gone. If looks could kill, Kelly Clarkson wouldn't have stood a chance. The audience collectively froze. Everyone in the room knew that telling someone they're too sensitive is like tossing a lit match into a room full of gasoline. Adam leaned back slowly, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm. "Too sensitive? Did you really just say that?" "To me," Kelly's face faltered. She realized the mistake the second it left her mouth, but it was far too late to pull it back. I just meant, maybe you're interpreting my questions in a way I didn't intend. Adam cut her off, holding up a hand. No. Don't backtrack now. You dismissed everything I just said with 2 words. Do you know how condescending that is? The cameras kept rolling, and you could see pure panic in the eyes of the producers at the edge of the set. What was meant to be a friendly promotional interview had turned into a full-blown standoff. Live, in front of millions, Kelly tried to steady herself, voice trembling just slightly. Adam, let's take a step back. I think maybe we both got a little heated. Why don't we talk about your tour, your new music? Adam leaned forward now, no longer masking his anger. Oh, so now you want to change the subject. After questioning my authenticity for 10 minutes straight, after telling me I'm too sensitive when I call you on it? Kelly shook her head. I wasn't questioning your authenticity, Adams. Laugh was sharp, bitter. Really? Because that's exactly what it sounded like. Manufactured pop stars. Image over talent. Reality show contestants being less legitimate. And then, when I pushed back, you dismissed me. That's not curiosity, Kelly. That's disrespect. The studio was suffocatingly tense now. Audience. Members shifted in their seats, unsure whether to breathe or just keep watching the implosion in silence. Kelly tried again, voice cracking just slightly. Adam, I respect you as an artist. I've always respected you. If I said something that came across wrong, I apologize. Adam shook his head slowly, almost pitying. That's not an apology. That's damage control. You don't respect me, Kelly. If you did, this wouldn't have been your line of questioning. Respect is treating me like the artist I am, not making me defend how I got here. Kelly's composure slipped another notch. Her voice rose. Adam, you're blowing this way out of proportion. I asked a few questions about the industry, and you've turned it into this whole dramatic thing. The look on Adam's face at that moment said it all. EC cutting, unforgettable. You could see him process what she'd just said, and then it happened, something inside him snapped. Unreasonable. That was the word that broke him. Adam's face went from visibly angry to completely expressionless, stone cold, when he spoke. His voice was low, deliberate, and terrifyingly calm. Unreasonable. He repeated it slowly, like he was tasting the word. First, I'm too sensitive, and now I'm unreasonable. Kelly, do you even hear yourself right now? Kelly's eyes flickered. She knew she'd crossed a line. But instead of backing off, she pushed harder. Adam, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. These were just casual questions about the industry. Adam sat forward sharply, his voice rising. Casual questions. Kelly, you basically called my career manufactured. You implied I'm not authentic. And when I defended myself, you told me I was too sensitive. Now I'm unreasonable. Tell me what part of that feels casual to you. The audience was hooked eyes wide, bodies leaning in. This wasn't daytime chatter anymore. This was a live implosion. Kelly's voice had an edge now. You know what? Maybe you are being unreasonable. I've apologized, I've tried to explain, and you just keep attacking me. Adam laughed sharp, humorless. Attacking you? No, Kelly. I'm defending myself against your attacks. There's a difference, though. I can see why you'd be confused about that. Her voice cracked with indignation. My attacks. I asked you questions about the music industry. That's literally my job. Adam shot back instantly. Your job is to make your guests feel welcome, not ambush them with loaded questions to tear them down. Kelly's mask was crumbling. I didn't ambush you. You're the one who turned this into a confrontation. Adam leaned forward, eyes blazing. I turned this into a confrontation. Let's rewind. You started this when you questioned whether artists from reality shows are authentic. You brought up manufactured pop stars while interviewing me, an American Idol finalist. How exactly did you think I was going to respond? Kelly snapped back, voice laced with condescension. I thought you'd have a mature, professional conversation about it. That was it. Adam's chair screeched loudly against the floor as he stood. The audience gasped. His voice boomed across the studio. Mature and professional. You want to talk about mature and professional? That would have been asking me about my tour, about my music, about my work with Queen. Mature and professional. Would have been treating me with respect, not tearing me down on national television. Kelly stayed seated, but her hands trembled against her cue cards. Adam, please sit down. Let's finish this interview properly. Adam gave a bitter laugh. Finish this interview. Kelly, this was over the second you decided to disrespect me. I'm not here to be your punching bag. I'm not belittling you, Kelly tried, her voice weakening. Adam cut her off with fire. Aren't you? You question my authenticity. You dismiss my concerns as too sensitive. You called me unreasonable. And now you're talking to me like I'm a child who needs to sit down and behave. How is that not belittling? The control room was in chaos. Stagehands gestured wildly. Do they cut to commercial or let this play out? Kelly made one last desperate attempt. Adam, you're a guest on my show. The least you could do is show some respect. That was the nail in the coffin. Adam froze, his face turning to ice. His words cut through the silence like glass. Respect. You don't get to demand respect when you've shown me none. Respect is a two-way street. And Kelly, this is a dead end. Kelly's face drained of color. Adam, please, can we? Just start over. Adam shook his head slowly, with finality. No, Kelly. There's no starting over. You've shown me exactly who you are. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend otherwise, just to save your show. The audience was dead. Silent, you could hear the hum of the lights overhead. This was history. Daytime TV had never seen anything like it. Kelly tried one last card, her voice pleading. Adam, think about what you're doing. This is live television. Adam adjusted his jacket, already halfway toward the exit. He turned back once, eyes burning. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm standing up for myself. And yes, Kelly. It's live, which means America gets to see exactly how you treat your guests when you think you can get away with it. With that, Adam Lambert walked off set. The audience gasped, half in awe, half in disbelief. Kelly sat, frozen in her chair, left to pick up the pieces of an interview that had just gone down in TV history. You could see its tears welling in Kelly's eyes now. Fair. Adam's voice cut through the silence, low but razor sharp. Okay, you want to talk about fair. Was it fair when you brought me here just to question whether I even deserve to be called an artist? Was it fair when you dismissed me as too sensitive for standing up for myself? Was it fair when you called me unreasonable for refusing? To sit quietly while you chipped away at my career? Kelly had no answer. She sat there, eyes wide, shoulders sinking under the weight of the moment. Adam towered over her, his face locked in controlled fury. That's what I thought. His tone was quiet, lethal. I came here to talk about my music, my tour, instead. You tried to tear me down on live television? And you, of all people, should know better. Then it happened, the sound that froze the entire studio. Click. Adam unclipped his mic and set it on the chair arm. A tiny motion but deafening in its meaning. This wasn't just an awkward interview anymore. This was a collapse. Kelly's breath hitched. Adam, please don't do this, she whispered. For a heartbeat, something softened in his expression. But then he shook his head. No, Kelly, you did this. You asked loaded questions, made cheap implications, dismissed me when I pushed back. I'm just refusing to take it anymore." Her voice cracked. "If you leave now, it'll look terrible for both of us." Adam's reply was instant. "No, Kelly, it'll look terrible for you. I'm the one who was ambushed. I'm the one who was called sensitive, unreasonable, disrespected every step of the way. All I'm doing is standing up for myself, and the cameras are here to make sure people see it." The audience was stunned, some recording with shaky phones, others just gaping in disbelief. Kelly reached across the table, desperate. "Adam, I'm begging you. Please sit down. Let me fix this." He paused, considered, then shook his head firmly. "You had 20 minutes to fix it. Instead, you doubled down, every single time." Tears streamed down her face now. "I made mistakes. I'm human. Can't you give me a chance to make it right?" Adam's jaw tightened. "The time to make it right was before you turned this into an attack on who I am. Before you questioned my authenticity in front of millions. Before you dismissed my entire career as some manufactured fluke. You can't undo that with an apology." He straightened his jacket, then turned directly to the camera. "For everyone watching at home, I came here excited to talk about my music, my tour. Instead, I was treated like a fraud. Like I don't deserve my success, and I need you to know I do. I've worked for it. I've earned it." Kelly's sobs broke the silence. "Adam, please don't do this to me." He looked back at her, eyes almost pitying. "I'm not doing this to you, Kelly. You did it to yourself. And these are the consequences." He turned, walking toward the edge of the stage. The cameras followed each step. "Adam, wait!" Kelly cried, her voice raw. He stopped, looked back one last time. "Kelly, I've spent my whole career proving I belong in this industry. I will not let you undo that with your dismissive attitude and your loaded questions. Intention doesn't matter when the impact cuts this deep. Today, you disrespected me in front of millions, and when I pushed back, you made it worse. I won't sit here and be your punching bag." The studio was a vacuum of silence. Guests didn't do this. Not here. Not ever. Adam Lambert took one last look around, then locked eyes with Kelly. "I hope you learned something, that your guests are human beings, not props, not targets. Human beings who deserve dignity and respect." And with that, he walked off the set. The camera stayed on Kelly Clarkson, slumped in her chair, sobbing uncontrollably as the audience buzzed and the production team scrambled. A simple promo interview had just collapsed into one of the most unforgettable moments in daytime television history. Adam Lambert had drawn the line. He had walked away, and the world would be talking about it for years.